My brain is just wired to want to know more about the law and know more about, everyone just getting equal rights and people just being treated fairly. And I think that's just what I want to explore. That's just been a passion of mine from college. And, even after I graduate, I still have a passion for it. I still do my research and read. I just express who I am, who I really am, what I'm interested in, and that comes out on Twitter. I've touched a variety of things from, AIDS and where that really came from to gay rights, a whole plethora of things I've discussed on Twitter. It's just whatever I'm researching or whatever I'm interested at the time, that's kind of what I bring up on Twitter. And people seem to really respond to it. I think people, they want the jokes and the funny comments on Twitter, but I think they also want to get deep and get serious about some topics. I also discuss a lot of relationship issues, things like that. And I think people just get to see a well-rounded me, and they also get to discuss topics that they're dealing with in their own lives. The topic I brought up about finances and relationships, how do you differentiate, even if it's just a date, who pays, things like that. And yeah, I think the answers I get, some of them are kind of crazy, but I think just the different answers I get kind of do surprise me. People were saying that they work, they're in a relationship, they both work, and both of their money, both salaries just goes into one account, and they move on like that, and they love it like that. But for me, that was really weird because I can't imagine working overseas for, I don't know, however long my career is, 10, 15 years, and then getting into a relationship and all my money just going into one account after working so hard. So that's probably why I seemed really intrigued about those answers. They know they can tweet me and I'll tweet back. I try to tweet everyone back about things that are going on, whether it's relationships or civil law. On Twitter, I was getting a lot of feedback, people saying, oh my God, we thought you were stuck up, we thought you were so mean, this is just not who we thought you were. The way I play is kind of aggressive. Maybe I am mean on the court, but that has nothing to do with the person I am off the court. And I just wanted people to get a chance to know who I really am. My parents came here in the late 70s. They're both Nigerian. Obviously, I was born here and grew up kind of with American ideals, just learning them in school from friends, that kind of stuff. So I grew up kind of conflicted. I wanted to listen to my mom, and what she was telling me was right. But then, I'm growing up in this American culture, and it's kind of going against everything my mom is teaching me. So just growing up conflicted and just kind of trying to find my own way on what I believe to be right. Women get treated a lot different in the Nigerian culture. We're expected to be submissive. And now in American culture, women are really standing up. They're leading households, they're working, they're bringing in salaries. And that's really where I see myself fitting. And that's kind of something that's conflicted me, because here I am working, I'm making good money, I'm a professional, but then I have a mother who's always taught me that the man is going to lead me if I ever get married or if I'm in a relationship. I'd say another one is you kind of look the other way, and you don't speak up when you see your husband or a man in high power. You don't speak up when you see them doing wrong. You kind of just let them do their own thing. Whereas, in America, we don't do that. If we see someone doing something wrong, we let them know. I just wanted to bring that up on Twitter and see what other people felt about that. People were really surprised because they don't see that from me. They don't see a woman that's meek and humble and quiet. They don't see that from me. So they were kind of confused about that. But then getting a chance to explain my point of view and where I'm coming from, the way I was raised, and then being able to live in the American culture, I think people really understand me. I played in Romania, Israel, and Poland. I'd say what was most similar was the Israeli culture, just because the women there are taught the same thing. They're taught to be a little more submissive, and the man is expected to kind of lead the way and the woman's supposed to follow, which was kind of right up my alley on what I was taught. So just observing that, and that really made me happy that I was able to think outside the box and kind of just find my own way. Being able to get the word out to 1,500, 1,600 people, just by pressing a button, I think those kind of things are really going to help me get the word out about different things and get support. I have some of the most supportive followers, and they really listen and comment and give me feedback, and that really helps. I see inequality left and right. I see it all the time, and I don't see anyone doing anything about it. You know, once in a while we'll hear Jesse Jackson or someone complaining about something on TV, but I don't see enough being done, and I feel like, you know, I'm on a big enough platform, especially if I have a law degree, that I can kind of step in and do something. Yeah, I'm just really interested in conspiracy theories. That really intrigues me, and so just reading up on cancer and its origin, AIDS and its origin, and why there's not a cure, you know, 40 years later, 40 years after AIDS was discovered. That kind of stuff really intrigues me, and just kind of trying to read more deeply into and share that with my followers and see what they feel on the situation. That's been big for me. With the origin of AIDS, you know, we're kind of taught that it jumped species from the monkeys in Africa to the humans, and then you know, they brought it to the States and Haiti, and this whole thing that kind of just doesn't make any sense. And so I wanted to really read more deeply into it and kind of do some searching and see what the truth was. I think there's just too much of a coincidence between when the vaccines for hepatitis B, when they were being injected into adult gay men, and then, you know, the next year we find that AIDS is really rampant in the gay community. So I just think it's too coincidental. I don't believe it could have jumped species. For cancer, when I was reading deeply into that, they said that, you know, there was a guy who was really close to finding the cure, and they actually put him in prison when he came out with this information. You know, you would think he would get a Nobel Prize, but the exact opposite happened. My teammates always see me reading on the planes, you know, and things like that, so they're always asking me, well, what are you reading now, you know, and I always try to give them the basics on what I'm reading so they just have some knowledge of what it is. You know, I was telling them about the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. They would find men that had syphilis and tell them that they were being treated for it, but they really weren't. They were just kind of watching it transgress over time, and they were letting it worsen without treating them. So, and this went on for years and years without anyone ever saying anything or trying to stop it. And President Clinton actually stepped up and apologized on behalf of the United States to the men who were affected by this experiment. And there was a large payout for it. Obviously, the money doesn't help, you know, or reverse what happened, but at least it's saying, you know, we apologize and we're willing to compensate. And they were really intrigued by that. So I think they're, you know, they're really interested in things like that too. And I think a lot of people would be if they really did the research. Because we're so wired to kind of believe everything we read in the newspaper or believe everything we hear on the news. And a lot of times we're not given true information. I'm really interested in equality and equal rights for all. I know I'm just one person, but if I can somehow help, that would be a dream come true for me.